Welcome back, Cardboard Warriors. How's everybody out there doing today? So I got the results of my Phyrexia All Will Be One pre-release tournament here, and my deck, and we'll go over that, and some prize packs. We'll open those as well. First off, here is the Exalted Angel. That was the it's not sleeve, so it's a little hard to see, but that was kind of the game store promo, I guess, for playing in the pre-release, which was pretty neat. And then the Green Sun's Twilight full art foil is, or well, extended art foil is the buy a box promo this time around. So I'll show you those real quick. But let's break into it. So I ended up going green and blue, and then drastically regretting that afterwards. I realized I really just made a bad decision on the colors. I'll show you why I went green and blue, why it was so hard to choose between green and blue and green and black. I should have gone green and black. Definitely think it would have been a lot stronger because all the people that I faced that were playing black and had the same cards that I had were just a lot more powerful than me. I did pretty decent. I won the first round, drew the second round. I think I lost the third round, then won the fourth round or something like that. It was 4 rounds, but it was 44 people in the tournament, so a lot of people. So it was one of those ones, if you didn't win all 4 rounds, you weren't going to be in the top. Ended up placing like 11th out of 44, so not too bad. It was still in the top quarter of the field, barely. But anyways, green, I felt was pretty strong with the counters. So I got 2 Green Suns Twilights. Of course, those are really fun cards. I did end up. I've spoken about this before. If you've watched my other draft videos and stuff, I actually in my 40 card decks only run 15 lands, and I did again. And I was already landed out. I probably had 7 lands on the board, and I Green Sun Twilight for 5 and pulled 5 lands off the top of my library one time. It's actually a good thing I did it because I was able to get those lands off the top of my library, so I didn't just sit there getting landed out for the rest of the game. And I think I ended up winning that game, luckily, because of that. But it's still, I only run 15 lands. I got like 7 on the board, and I would draw 5 lands that are all off the top of my library. So for some reason, even though I run light on lands, I always get landed out. But I got 2 of those. There was a couple times that I did this for, I would only do it for 5. I didn't do it for less than 5 ever. But there's a couple times I did it and was able to throw a big beast on the board that pretty much finished the game. Or not a big beast, but just a card that really just helped ramp everything up. So let me show you. I kind of ran counters, oil counters, and then proliferate to increase the toxic counters. I wasn't getting enough toxic damage through because I didn't run black like I should have. Anyway, so I got a cultivator. This guy is actually really helpful for ramping early on. I got a scrap gorger. This guy was putting in tons of work. This guy, I wish I'd have gotten a couple more of him, or at least one more of him, because he was a beast. He's removing cards from other people's graveyards, which really helped. He was adding mana for mana ramp early on, and then he was becoming a big old 3/3 plus after the fact. So he was just a beast. That was probably the most he put in the most work, I think, out of all the cards I had in my deck. I got 2 of the Spore Singers for the Proliferate. I think I might have used the 2/2 one time with them, but it was pretty much always the Proliferate. And they're a good little, Vigilance 2/2, so you can attack and block with them is nice. I got a Blade Mantis. He did really good. He was really helpful, real powerful, because pretty much always attacking as a 5/4 with Vigilance, because he comes in with 2 oil counters on him, but I had so much proliferate that I was able to keep putting more oil counters on him and keep hitting. I got a couple of predation steward. He didn't come into play too much. The 3+ tap for the extra 2/2. I didn't end up using him, I don't think, ever. I don't think I ever used his ability. So he wasn't that useful. The Stalker really helped with the Toxic 2. And then I got the Basilisk, of course, Death Touch with Toxic 1. He's going to get through a lot and get the first initial counter. Once I get the first initial counter, then I can usually proliferate the rest onto him for the poison. I did actually kill quite a few people with the Toxic, so even though I didn't have a lot of Toxic in here, if I'd have run black, I'd have probably killed every opponent with Toxic. So I got this guy just to be a big beast that could block the flyers and have the trample. He didn't come into play too much because the games were pretty fast, actually. I probably could have pulled him out and put in something else. Infectious Bite, great card, because that also gives the opponent the poison counter that I can then proliferate into 10. And then the Predation, these are awesome cards as well. Pump them up and then fight. I got 2 of those, so those really helped. That was kind of the extent of my removal, though, because I didn't make the right decision with the colors, so you'll see. I got a Filigree Silex, just for this thing is so good. It's pretty much a engineered explosives that you have a little more control over, and is a little cheaper. So this guy was awesome. I didn't get to utilize him as much as I would have liked to because I just didn't end up pulling him often enough. And there's one time that he would have won me the game, but it was like so close, and I ended up they had so much removal because they were running green-black that I just couldn't get. I had it out there. I just couldn't get the second counter fast enough to kill all their stuff before they killed me because they were swarming me. But everything was 2-drops, and I was able to get the 2 counters on it, but not fast enough to be able to then tap it and take out all their 2-drops. So if I'd have got this out 1 turn earlier, I would have won that game, and that was the game that I ended up losing the round. If I'd have won that last game, because if I could have gotten this out 1 turn earlier, I would have won that game and then won that round. So that was a bummer. Masticore, this guy's a monster. He's awesome. He helped a lot. Just great removal. Ichorplate Golem. Yeah, I used him quite a bit because of the creatures you control with all counters on him get +1/+1. So I was getting him out quite a bit, actually, and pumping up all my other creatures because they pretty much all had oil counters on them. So that guy was a big help. He was really fun. The Atlas I put in there just because I wanted to do the 1 life with the poison counters. I was able to proliferate up to 3 poison counters pretty often and tap this for mana and then do a point of damage. The reason I went green-blue is because these next 2 cards, the Observer, which had the Toxic 1, he was really the one putting in. He put in so much work in the deck. He was putting a lot of work. Him and the what was it, Cultivator, or not the Scrap Gorger. Him and the Scrap Gorger were pretty much my breadwinners for the event. They were putting in so much work. This flying with the 1 Toxic, and then whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you can pay a 1 and proliferate. And for a 2/3 flyer with Toxic 1 for 3 and the ability to proliferate, this guy was a monster. If I'd have gotten 2 of these, I think I would have been just swarming. And this is the other reason. This was my mythic in my pack. And if you would proliferate twice instead. Flying 3/5 for 4, and you can make it indestructible. I was like, just from removing some counters and paying some life. Yeah, he was a monster, but I only ended up getting him in play like once or twice, so he really didn't put in enough work to justify going blue. So I really thought I was going to get a lot more use out of him, and that's why I went blue, because these 2 guys, and I did get a ton of use out of the Observer, and when he did get out, I did win those games, but he just didn't come out very often. Anatomist, great. I pretty much just used him as a proliferate and then a 2/5 blocker afterwards to block the bigger creatures, because by the time we got to the 4 mana down, I was usually game was pretty close at that point. The Raptors did really good. They come with the oil counters on them, and you can remove a counter to get a +1 -1. And then I had so much proliferate that I was usually getting them quite a few counters on them, and they were pretty big bombs there. So, and the flying on top of it, so those were pretty good. Blizzazoa, I don't think I ever got that on the battlefield. I might have gotten it out once. Yeah, I think I got it out once. So he wasn't that helpful. The games were pretty fast. Probably could have pulled him out and put something else in. Then this on the inside actually helped out a few times. The draw 3 cards and proliferate. That was pretty fun. Terramorphic Expanse, just to thin out the deck a little by pulling out the lands. The reason I should have gone green black, I just didn't even. I wasn't thinking. I was on the fence. I was trying to decide, but I ended up thinking the blue mythic and then the green blue flyer were going to be more effective than the black would be. But after I played the people with the black, I realized I should have gone black because I actually got 2 of these guys, flying toxic ones, 2 drops. They were putting in damage on me like crazy when I was playing the black players. So those little guys are amazing, and I had 2 of them. I had the Hive Master, which was great, and he creates the little tokens with the 1 toxic, so that would have really helped. I got the Rat. A lot of people were just putting a hurting on me with this guy because he gets to proliferate when he dies after he puts some toxic counters on him. I had this guy too. People were just destroying me with this guy. 4-drop Menace Toxic 2 for 2/4. Unbelievably strong common. Yeah, I couldn't believe how effective he was against me. So I was really regretting not playing black after that. And then this one, of course, people were using this against me very, very well. They were putting this on this, which was awful because I was getting 4 toxic counters every time I got hit, and then they were returning them to the battlefield after I'd finally find a way to kill it. They'd return it to the battlefield, which killing a 4 toughness creature is not very easy in draft or sealed. So the Menace and then the 4 toxic counters, yeah, people were just, that combo was absolutely wrecking me. And then of course I had a Whisper of the Dross, would have really helped with the removal. And then the Aspirant was really good because whenever you proliferate, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. The thing I was worried about was that a lot of these, I didn't have as much proliferate without the blue. So that's why I ended up going with the blue, because I thought I needed to proliferate more. But it turns out I think the black with the more toxic would have been better. I had this guy with Death Touch, big old beast. And then, you can gain a little bit of life possibly if they can't discard. This guy that can return from the graveyard. And then of course another removal card, really good removal. That one, I got hit with that quite a bit, so that one sucked. And then the Bear, some people were using that one pretty well as well against me. And then my actual pre-release card was Archfiend of the Dross. This guy, I faced 2 people that had this guy, and they kept getting him out, and this guy is almost impossible to get rid of, because even though he only comes out with 4 oil counters, and if he loses all his oil counters, you lose the game. Because the proliferate in this set, people were getting this guy out and just stacking counters on him. There's no way I could get rid of him because he was flying 6/6. There was no way I could get rid of this guy once he was out. People were just destroying me with this card. I did not realize how good this card really was. I mean, I read it, but it didn't really sink in how good that card really was. So I really regretted not running black after I had to face off against this guy. And then I also got the Tyvar, which would have been huge. So I really should have run green and black. I really regret that. But hey, it is what it is. Too late now. So that's what ended up happening. Here's the other cards I got. I got a Theorist, Minor Misstep. I don't stack counter spells because I don't like playing against them, so I didn't put that in there. Curator, Malachar, the Spider, the Synthesizer, the Prowlers. Got 2 of those. And then Incubation Sack. Those are all the ones that were color coordinated that I didn't stack. And then here's the rest of the stuff I got in my pre-release kit. Prism, couple spell bombs, bunch of spell bombs, and we got the red, green, the Kethic, some other multicolor. Here's a red. Red looked a little tempting, but I definitely thought that either blue or black was going to be the more powerful one to add to the green. White looked decent because I had a lot of flyers, so I was kind of tempted to do white and black at the very beginning because of the toxic and the flyers. But it just seemed like I didn't have a lot of creatures in the white, so I ended up going with the green. And there's our lands, and end up getting a Koth emblem. And then there's our tokens. Okay, so this video is getting kind of long already, 15 minutes. So let's break into our packs. They are Japanese. Excuse me. It's really early. I'm not quite awake yet. Swamp, Green Sun's Twilight again. And for the first pack, all right. Let's see what pack number 2 has in store for us. Rebel, Mountain, Foil, hey, Wanderer, that's pretty good. And Mosquito, all right. And pack number 3, what do we got? Plains, Foil Swamp, and then a Koth, Fire Resistance, okay. So there we go. Nothing exciting, nothing too exciting, but yeah, it was really fun. It was a really fun event to play. This set really is powerful. So I had a lot of fun. Let me know how you guys did at your pre-release event. If you were able to go, or if you didn't, let me know. Love to hear from you guys in the comments. Check out the description below before you head out. And thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next one. Bye.